Obama and the First Lady Michelle Obama, they're remembering all that was lost on this day, at this moment, some 13 years ago. It is the 13th anniversary of the September 11 attacks. And this anniversary, it comes right after that address that we heard from the U.S. President. President Obama's pledge to fight ISIS, this new militant threat. As we heard from that report from CNN's Jim Acosta, 13 years now after 9/11, a question is looming large. Are people in America, are they ready for a new fight against a new enemy? Now we'll look at live pictures from New York City. Live video from across the nation. You see Rudy Giuliani there on your screen as the nation gathers to remember once again the 9/11 terror attacks that took place 13 years ago today. You see the ceremony underway in New York. Earlier we showed you video from Washington, D.C. We're waiting for the U.S. President and the First Lady to gather at the South Lawn to begin the ceremony, to remember and to pause for that moment of silence what happened 13 years ago today. Survivors and victims' families, they have gathered in New York. They have gathered in the Pentagon as well, and also in the White House, all there in honor of the victims and to remember what was lost. Commemorative ceremonies are underway. The U.S. American anthem is being sung, performed right now. And you're seeing dual images on your screen of two ceremonies underway, one in Washington, one in New York. Let's take this moment to listen in.
Last fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets trembling, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Stirring scenes there from both Washington, D.C., the White House, and New York, as Americans pay tribute to the victims lost 13 years ago today as a result of the 9/11 terror attacks. You heard that stirring performance of the national anthem. You watched as people watched on, hands over hearts, and you saw survivors, victims' family members there holding up posters of the victims, of those who died and perished in the terror attacks 13 years ago this morning. Survivors and victims' families have gathered in New York City, again, to mark the 13th anniversary of the September 11 terror attacks. And CNN's Poppy Harlow is there. She joins us now live. And Poppy, it's 13 years on now. Tell us, how is New York City remembering 9/11? Fortunately, you just heard Poppy Harlow is not available. She is indeed. Poppy, tell us the mood there. How are people in New York City remembering this day?
You know, I think it's different for everyone. I certainly lived here when this city was attacked, and we couldn't be prouder of how we've rebuilt. Behind me, you see One World Trade Center about to open later this year, a symbol of this country's resolve. For some of the families, it's important for them to be at this beautiful memorial ceremony that is underway. We just spoke with a girl who's now 17 years old. She was 4 when her father died, and she said it's important for her to be here, to read and be part of the ceremony. It makes her feel closer to her dad, and you can certainly understand that. Also, I spoke last night on the phone with the parents of Peter Alderman, a 25-year-old man who was killed in the attack. They said it's unimaginable. They cannot believe that their son would have been 38 today, this year rather, but they said it's important for them, although they can't come here, it's important for them to hear his name read, that someone who loves him, his mother said, hear his name read. That is just how 2 people cope. Nearly 3,000 lives lost. It is something that the city will always remember. They are honored with a beautiful memorial that, Christy, for the first time is open on 9/11. Tonight at 6 o'clock Eastern, the public will be able to come to the memorial to spend time there. Also this morning, that 9/11 museum opened early, 7:30 in the morning, for the family members to go in if they would like, for that to be part of the day for them. And then, of course, you have a city that remains on high alert, as it always is. A lot of police out down here in Lower Manhattan, just out of precaution. There is no specific threat from ISIL to this city or to America at this point in time, but you can bet that all of those potential targets, bridges, tunnels, etc., are in sharp focus of the police here. Earlier this morning, I spoke with NYPD Commissioner Bill Bratton, who talked about the increase in the technology that they're using to monitor all of those potential targets in this city. They've got 1,000 police officers just on their anti-terrorism squad. Also spoke with Homeland Security Secretary Jay Johnson, who made it very clear that although there is no specific threat from ISIL to this country at this time, there are always threats to this country, and they are hyper aware of them. So again, this city is prepared. Cities across America are prepared in case of anything, but at this point in time, no specific threats. But again, today is not about thinking about how this country was attacked so much as thinking about the strength and resolve and what these families are having to go through still 13 years later.
Poppy Harlow.